Yeah, I don't do much of these.
Yeah, a lot of people that I've told about like, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? They always hit me with the like, I got a mix is coming out. I got
and then you're like, yeah, that's exactly what my whole thing was.
So what is it about like as an artist having a limited amount of mixes, or do you guys have like a goal per year, or not? I mean, not a goal, but like you just don't want to put out too much.
I just don't want to like oversaturate. You know?
Right.
I mean, like I'm already my release schedule is pretty insane as it is, so it's just like if I don't know. I try to keep it like maybe a mix a month at most.
Well, that's not bad.
Like I don't want to do like 5 mixes in a month.
Yeah.
But I have, I just did like the Birdhouse takeover with Percomaniacs. Right. Put out my mix with Rybo at Elro, the Brooklyn Mirage last week.
You started putting out to as far as maybe to like what social media, as far back as social media goes, that I've seen through with Ghosty.
Ghosty.
Yeah, back in 2016 with Nervous Records.
Yeah.
Was that like the Lubelski introduction to the house music scene out here? Or?
Kind of my. I used to go by a different alias before that for like 3 or 4 years. I was Jayco, Jayko.
Jayco. Like Jinko jeans, but Jayco.
More like Jayco RV rentals.
Okay.
Yeah, but people used to just call me Jayco, like in high school.
Okay.
I was like, it's fine. It's like my name. But when I started it, I didn't really do a lot of research on who else had that name. So there's actually a few other Jayco. There's like J-Code. There's a Jayco, which is spelled the exact same the way I did it. But it was like a wannabe Pitbull Puerto Rican rapper. He would like remix Rihanna, put his vocals on it, and call it like a feature with Rihanna.
Oh, wow.
So and then he just absolutely blew up. And so I was like, oh
nice. That worked out for him.
Yeah. We were like the same level when we started. Apparently, like he had like 3,000 followers or something, and then I maybe checked 6 months later, and it was like he had 30,000 or something. Wow. Latin America loves the dude, but
right, yeah.
This is not a shout out for him, but so I'd been making music with Ghosty as Jayco for a while.
Like even before 2016.
Yeah. I actually Ghosty like sublet at my house when I was going to school in Santa Cruz for the summer while I was gone.
Yeah.
And he just stayed there.
Out.
Yeah, so like we've been buddies for a long time, and like he was one of the first people I booked when I was throwing a party in Santa Cruz as well.
Right. So you did events out there even before DJing, or that was a part of like, hey, I'm DJing, I'm going to throw my own party and kind of help myself with. Yeah,
I mean, there was Santa Cruz is like a notoriously bass music driven scene. Like some of the biggest bass music artists in the world come from there. I mean, like Bass Nectar. I had actually class with G Jones.
Yeah.
We both went through the electronic music program together.
Where?
At UC Santa Cruz.
UC Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they have a full.
Yeah, same program. Bass Nectar went through, and I think guys like even Sam Hiller, who's like an LA local as well, local guy. But so no one out there was doing house music parties, and I just like there's a void here, so I did that, and I booked my buddies. I've brought out like Pylo. Ballast.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Pylo.
Yeah, Ballast. He's now like making punk music in Arizona now, but
that's a hard left turn.
Yeah, right. I mean, he was always a really heady dude. Ballast, Pylo, Fritz Carlton, Ghosty, and then like a bunch of my Santa Cruz homies that played music as well. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. Like, and we threw shows at this club called the Catalyst in Santa Cruz. Yeah, which is like arguably the biggest club in Santa Cruz besides the Civic Auditorium.
Yeah. I mean, that's like next level. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, that's like if you're like Dave Chappelle or something, that's where you're going to play. But I've seen like Justin Martin at the Catalyst and Flatbush Zombies.
Nice.
So yeah, it's cool. That's cool venue.
I used to listen to Flatbush Zombies back in like right out of high school. I really got into them. Like
they're so sick. Yeah. And I was, in Santa Cruz, I was super about the psychedelic vibe.
Yeah.
So I was, taking a lot of acid, and I had no idea who they were, but my buddies love them.
Yeah.
And they definitely have
they kind of fit that.
Yeah, unique sense of hip hop. For sure, hip hop and rap.
So how did Santa Cruz and what was the big pull to LA? I mean, I feel like LA is always obviously it's one of the biggest markets with here in New York and maybe some other places around here, but LA is like the place, especially now with like how house music is blowing up and EDM and dance music as a whole, it's blowing up now. So was that your pull to come to LA where you're like, hey,
well,
I see what I can
grew
do?
Up here. Yeah,
I was
so
native.
Born and raised in LA. I just went to school in Santa Cruz. I don't even remember why I went up there and decided to do it.
Maybe the program,
probably should have. Yeah, program? Yeah. I think last minute I had gotten a few schools and I was like, yeah, Santa Cruz is cool. Like, oh, nice electronic music program. I mean, ended up taking electrical engineering up there and doing a bunch of stuff that I have no use for. But
sounds about right.
I think if I had planned on dropping out and like just coming to LA and like doing music, and I think if I had done that earlier, I'd be a little bit more further along. But
I mean, you came in and you were doing your own stuff here with your collective of homies, and you guys got integrated very strongly here. I mean, I've known about you and Fritz and Ghosty from when I started in the music industry, which is like not too long, but I guess like 4 years now, going on 4 years. But you came in and you guys were doing your own thing as homies here. It wasn't a part of like an affiliate with like Desert Hearts, how you're doing now, or anything like that.
Well, it was really nice because right before I graduated, I'd gone to my first Desert Hearts in like 2015 or something like that, and I was just absolutely mind blown by that sort of energy, like that one stage kind of thing. And they were just also playing music that was absolutely mind blowing, and so it was really nice because I had made that track Doses with Fritz and had gotten signed to Desert Hearts. So coming back to LA was like I already...
Yeah, you had a foothold in.
Yeah, I just already had a foot down there before I even came back.
Yeah.
But, I think I've always kind of wanted to do my own thing. I always saw myself trying to be like a label head or someone like trying to push the envelope. Or I mean, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm a total copycat making house. But
I mean, everybody is a little bit, I think, in some respect. But I mean, the fact that you have that drive to want to be a label head, I think it's totally doable in LA. Two, you are doing it. Like, props to you for fucking getting there. Yeah, of course. That. So I mean, it's something that you have already in the works, and it's obviously something that you put in the time. But I feel like a lot of artists here don't have that same train of thought. Like a lot of people here, I mean, the old saying, everyone's a DJ. You know, people don't do it for the right reasons, but people don't do it with intention. People don't do it with a sense of purpose. And it's not that it hurts the scene, but it kind of like, it makes the market very tough to navigate.
Oh, yeah. Barrier to entry is way harder. Everyone wants to be, my mom wants to be a DJ. Yeah. My dog wants to be a DJ. Yeah. My postman wants to be a DJ.
Your postman probably is a DJ.
He probably is. I just want to be a drummer, though. You know what I mean?
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's your shit?
No, I'm not actually a drummer. But yeah, Percomaniacs. Yeah. So I'm just... I don't know. We've always just wanted to do something different. Either way, I mean, it's like, where does the scene go, anyways? From here, there's not much new stuff happening. You know, a lot of the cool new scenes aren't even in house music anymore. It's always like kind of more breakbeaty or different tempos, and you hear about like gabber music or like whatever it is, and it's like insane that these scenes exist. And I don't know, trying to do something different in house music is always difficult, but
I think, in general, the scene from my experience, it's hard to kind of do something different. It's just more what can you bring to what is already happening that's, I mean, you don't want to say new because that's really hard to find, but like, what can you add to it? So it's like, one, your personality, I think, whenever someone does something on their own or someone's trying to contribute, it's what can they bring with their group of friends to whatever it is they're trying to do. Because you can come and you can DJ or you can come and throw a party, but that's already being done. Yeah,
totally. I think with that thought, it's a lot of people are like, what can I add? Yeah. But at the same time, you can look at the opposite and be like, what is actually too much? What can I take away from it? What are just the actual good parts here that are actually working? Yeah. And I think the scene is also, I mean, as a whole in tech house is now moving towards a minimal sound. They don't want to just be hyper saturated, whether that is with, you know, a wall of sound or with a million releases. I mean, it's tough to not put out music.
Is it?
Like every 2 or 3 weeks and like not fall behind.
Oh, got it. Okay,
like as a label or even as an artist, like you need to be constantly pushing something new. Like if you have a big hit, even like at the beginning of the year, you're old news 3 months later. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's one of those things, again, because let's say for just specifically with you and your collective and Desert Hearts, there's like 20 to 30 solid artists that are pumping music out all the time. And I agree that if you're not able to, you don't want to like oversaturate your own sound, but if you're not keeping up with the times or keeping up with your own, you know, your own previous tracks, it's going to be hard to like catch up to where you were before.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, again, we were just talking about it. I don't DJ. It was one of those things where if someone had given me a USB for that first party and told me, hey, because we planned on having the party, and in my head, this was literally before I knew shit about DJing, before house music, and I knew house music tracks, and I was like, okay, well, if this party should have this song, this song, this song, but no one gave me the USB to be like, hey, put all these on here and mix it yourself. But I've seen a lot come and go. I've seen a lot of people that don't do it with substance, and I don't think that's where you guys are at. You guys are a solid group of dudes that have you have the right vision, and you're pushing yourself in the right way.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, I think a huge part of it, coming back to some substance, is like we were all just really tired with it. You know, tired with the way the scene is going. Like,
where was it before when you saw it?
Like just even right now, party tech, right? Which I will say on the record, I coined.
You heard it here.
Yeah. No, I totally coined that. Before anyone else used that, I was a publicist, and I started pitching that to blogs, and they started using that. I was like, that was me, motherfuckers. But I just think, like, there's too many kids trying to, like, emulate a big artist. I won't name any names, but, like, they're like, hey, I want to sound like this massive hit. And then it just sounds like a half-washed version of it. And like, that's not going to be your ticket to success.
Correct.
That sound was only big because no one else had done it that way. And it was also super minimal. I mean, like, not just like minimal tech, but like they decided these are the layers, these are the elements, and this is, I'm going to make each of those shine the best. And that's why those songs go so big, I think. But it always has to have substance. It can't just be a filler track. We have to be picky about what we're listening to, and I think it's kind of unfortunate. There's a lot of like smaller artists that are like trying to make it and like sending us music, and I think they have great potential, but like I can't with good conscience sign anything that I don't think
you would
fit that I would either play or I would feel like I would release myself.
Right. Yeah, I think it's our job or your job as like a label head to filter out those artists. And I mean, I don't know how it works as far as giving feedback to them, because it's pretty much just like a, hey, we're not interested at the moment kind of thing, or is it more like you try to educate them?
I'll give anybody feedback that asks for it.
Yeah.
I think that's super important to stay connected with the people that at least look up to me.
Yeah,
I think, like if they're asking me for, advice, I don't know why any person would be like, these are the tips and tricks that I've learned. I have to keep them to myself. Yeah. Because like if you're an actual artist, you're constantly pushing yourself. So it's like why?
Again, it just comes down to personality. I feel like I talked about it with Cyril, who was on here the last episode, and I don't see too much ego in LA as far as people that are putting on stuff. So I feel like even as an artist, I haven't seen too many artists that try to like keep shit to themselves or keep their ticks and
box their techniques.
Yeah, which is I think healthy for the scene, because if the music industry that we're involved in now is going to continue to evolve, people have to come together and help each other out. Otherwise, people are putting themselves in boxes where it's like, oh, okay, these guys are percomaniacs, let's say, and they do shit their way, and it's like we can't figure out how to do it their way. We can't figure out how to become part of them, what kind of sound they're looking for, because they don't tell anybody anything, and that's not the case. So the cog is always flowing. Which is crazy important.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we love to keep an open line of communication with people, and like we're always trying to find, young artists that are just getting their feet wet.
Yeah, that's healthy.
And like if we see real talent, we'll like tell you like, hey, like this is what we think.
Yeah.
But I feel like it goes both ways. Like if you're asking for advice, don't be hard pressed about us giving you constructive advice. Like, hey, we like this and we don't like this.
Right. Does that happen often when people are like, nah, I don't
agree
with what...
It happened with me when I would share my music. I'd be like, yo, can I get some advice? He's like, yeah, I don't really like this bit. I'm like, like
that's the one that I like. That bit that I like. I worked the hardest on that little piece.
But I mean, it's all subjective. It's music. And if it means something to you and if you put in the time and the effort to make it sound good, even if it's a crap idea, if it sounds good, I think people will still like it. So it's like you at least have the technical background to be like, oh, this is a good sounding track, but is the idea there? And I think that's kind of what we're both looking for.
Yeah. I mean, people like shit that aren't good. So if people like shitty music that isn't good, and you can even come up with something that can hold a beat, if you can catch the audience's attention with something that's different in your track, then I think you got something good.
I mean, I've heard incredibly basic songs that sound incredible on a dance floor. So when I was taking my electronic music courses in college, my professor had told me something that has stuck with me the entire time. He said, even if your idea for, song is terrible, if you can, mix and master your track perfectly where like the sound coming out of the speakers doesn't sound muddy and it sounds clean, and you can hear all the elements in the way that, it's intended to be heard. At about 90 hertz, there's a resonant frequency. If it's played loud enough, it'll actually physically shake the endorphins out of your brain. So even if the song sounds, I mean, like isn't a good song, if that low end is mixed right, it'll make you, it'll force you to be happy, like whether or not you want to be.
Yeah,
that's why people like loud music anyways. It's like, it's literally shaking the happiness into them. You know?
Yeah, I feel you.
So that's something that's always stuck with me. So like even if I have a crappy song but it sounds good, I think, you know,
it could work.
Yeah, like if I hate the song but at least I mixed it well, people are like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that's sick.
Cool. Some people don't know better, and I think that's to our advantage and to our disadvantage, because we want to continually educate the people with like what we believe they should like, I guess, so to speak. But at the same time, we can't expect everybody to get everything that you get as an artist. And especially with you having this direct like education of music and education of what can help you as an artist, that helps you a lot, obviously.
Oh, totally.
And has that like played much of a role in the way that you put together music, think about how you want to like conceptualize a track, or do you think of a bigger picture? Because I feel like the education, a lot of people come in learning on the fly. They've been doing this for years. They've been DJing. They kind of get better at it. They figure it out. They start producing, and they don't have the formal education to kind of hit the certain. I
would even say that my education at school was still sort of unorthodox.
Okay.
Because I mean it's hard to explain. Like I was the only person in my class making house music. I think I didn't have many friends.
What else were they doing?
It was mostly hip-hop? Like bass music, hip hop. There was like some bands in there. Shout out to Boostive, Santa Cruz band. There's like all these kids making. Yeah, there was like really left field experimental music, like kind of something you might hear in like 180 BPM in an Aphex Twin set or something like that. Some really out there psychedelic music. There was like a punk band that was just like a drummer and this like punk chick with like a handheld synthesizer that would be like rocking like she was on guitar. So there was some really eclectic, weird, different stuff being made there. But I mean, like it was still all a hands-on experience for me. Like I had to really learn it myself. I think the only thing that really shaped the direction that I was going there was my introduction to modular synthesis.
Okay.
Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz, the guy that invented the EMU modular system and EMU brand is an alumni of there. And so there's one of the, there's like maybe 1,000 of these systems made, but it's like maybe it's like this tall or something, maybe a little bigger than that, but it's like a 1/4-inch jack modular system. It literally looks like one of those old telephone patching rigs, and it's 1 in 1,000 made in the world. It's like a $50,000, $60,000 system or something. And that was like my first introduction to modular synthesis. And then it was when one of the subwoofers broke in the class that my professor was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take this into the other room and repair it." I'm like, "You can just do that. You can't just send it to a repair. Ditch it or have to send it in or something like that." And the next day it was working fine. You know, it was like crazy that he could do that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take electrical engineering now as well. And it shaped the way that I see and hear music.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about electrical systems. I understand signal flow. And I think without that program, I wouldn't be into modular stuff, which is great. But I don't, like when I went into that class, I felt like I was a little bit more advanced than the rest of the kids that were in that class. I guess that was just how I felt about it, because I'd already been making music and working in studios for 10 years before I even got to college. I've been playing guitar since I was like 7, and I played in bands and recorded for some artists and stuff in recording studios. So I already had sort of a fundamental knowledge of how studios work. And I've used almost every DAW or DAW there is. I learned on Reason, and I don't know if you've seen Reason or anything like that, but you have like all the studio gear, and it looks like real outboard gear. So actually that was like how I first really understood studio stuff.
Nice, dude. So that sounds like that's exactly the kind of skill set or the knowledge you need going into something that, because it's, if you're gonna commit in this industry to being an artist or to being a DJ, being a producer, you got to do the work and you got to know what you're doing. Because if you're just gonna go in and kind of connect the dots as you go, you can self-sustain for a long time, but I don't think there's much growth. And I mean, me alone, not knowing too much about your previous history, I've seen in the last 4 years your fucking growth, and it's great. and it's because you're able to put the shit that you're learning and the shit you had in the experience from before directly to you.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I wish I
take the mic off today. I like that. Yeah, get comfortable, bro.
I wish I didn't have to change my name.
Yeah,
know?
what was so? It was just because there was
the
artists.
Puerto Rican rapper.
He did you in,
the Puerto Rican rapper Jaco. Not a shout out. Fuck
Lubelski's cool. How important is it? Because as an artist, do you think that like the name that you pick for yourself? One, a lot of people seem to pick some kind of bizarre names that obviously have nothing to do. Like yours, your name's Jake Lubel, so Lubelski. Yeah. Like I get that, and a lot of people just use their full names. But how important is the artist name to the bookings you get, to the music?
Oh, it's
you produce?
Incredibly important.
Crazy, right?
It's so important. I mean, branding is such a huge deal nowadays. I picked Lubelski because it was like people had also already called me that, so it was just like, what is something that's me, but also like an alias?
Yeah,
you know. So I just went with something that no one else could have, which is my name.
Right.
I think that's the best way to do it. There's another artist that, preface, I do label manage for Desert Heart. So there's an artist that we had signed an EP for, but he's changing his name because it's like the most incredibly difficult name in the world to pronounce.
What is it?
He's Vangelis Kostaksanakis.
That's not. You don't do that.
Well, he's an incredible producer.
I mean, sure, but
he's been on Dirty Bird and tons of other labels, and
but it's hard to. You can't say his name.
So he ended up not being able to get any gigs for an entire summer after having these huge releases.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucks. I can see it though. Like I get it. As the people that are like doing the bookings and getting him set up with everything, if it's gonna be difficult to announce his name, I don't know. This isn't working for him. I'm trying to raise this shit up a little bit, but
there you go. There you go. Yeah, keep twisting.
Yeah, I got it. There we go. That's my technique. I know a lot of artists that have names that work for them in their favor strongly, even though if it's not their name directly. And then there's people that I'm just like, why would you go with that?
Couldn't tell you.
So he changed it to what? Or he's in the process of changing it?
I think he's going with Echo Boy or something.
Easier
with like
to
K.
say.
I don't know.
Yeah, easier to say. You can fit it on a flyer.
I think Vangelis was cool, but apparently that's also taken. So it's just like.
I mean, Vangelis, maybe if he were to just have that, but
yeah,
if
just
he
drop the last name.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person that pronounced his name correctly on the first
you
go.
can't even put that on a flyer. That takes like 2 rows.
No
offense, dude.
It's a sentence.
He's listening,
I mean, he's gonna do a thing. I mean, he's just an example of someone that has suffered the unfortunate fate of having like a difficult name. I think it should be simple and easy. And even my name is sort of difficult. Like when I first met Mikey, he was like, Lubelski? And I'm like, no, dude, Lubelski. He's like, Lubelski? I'm like, no, you'll get it later.
You'll get it later once you see it on something.
It's fine, dude. I'll just send you some more music. You'll see it.
So it seems like, I mean, the thing that I've liked about the Desert Hearts crew is that it's a family, and you can see it in their posts, you can see it in their flyers and their parties. It's literally a family. So when you came in and you and Fritz released on them, that was your introduction to them, correct?
Yeah, I actually had signed the track with Fritz before I had ever been to their festival.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that was your work, and how you were saying like you are giving you're up to giving these tips and tricks that you have to people who are maybe looking up to you.
Anyone who asked for it, really.
Yeah. Was that the same relationship with the Desert Hearts dudes? Like when you came in, or was it more of like a, hey, we're gonna release your stuff? Because now you're fully integrated into the family.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like when you first started. How was that like welcome? Because it's not everybody can just join a collective like that.
Well, the track did really well that we signed.
Okay.
So there was like some love that they were giving me, and then it was like, going to their parties. I'm like, oh man, this is just the best party on earth, in my opinion. Just 100 hours, like 80 hours now, 80 hours straight of house and techno.
They cut a day. It was a full.
It used to be 100 hours. I think they used to start like Thursday night, or they used to go till Tuesday morning or something like that. But it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to handle. Some of them
80 hours.
Some of them don't sleep at all the entire weekend, which can totally come back and bite you in the ass.
Yeah, and you can see it by the end of it too. You're like, that guy hasn't fucking
haggard,
slept.
haggard. It's usually by Monday morning. You're like Monday. People always stay up like Sunday night, and then all the people that are working the festival just stop working, and then they're have been up all night anyways, so they're just like,
wild.
Zombies on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great, but it's a lot. I need my beauty rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I had signed a couple more EPs with them, and then as I've kept that relationship going. They've brought me into the fold a lot more. Now I tour with them a bunch. Me and Rybo play a lot of shows with them together, and now I do their label management, which has been great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing scheduling. So I do label management for them and Desert Hearts Black, Percomaniacs, and a couple other labels that I'm working on getting under my wing. But, you know.
Is it something where it's not really freelance work, but you're like working for them to handle that?
It's technically freelance work.
Freelance?
Yeah, I'm like, I guess with Desert Hearts, I'm like technically like a salaried employee. They just give me a set amount.
Right.
Every month or whatever, which is great. Love that. Love steady income. That's fucking awesome as a, you know, as a broke DJ most days.
You got
Not
salary,
anymore. Making it happen.
Got
my studio lockout.
Yeah.
Paying the bills. Taxes are next.
I want to. We'll go one thing at a time. Tackle it.
I'll talk to my CPA about that. But
you got a CPA now. Big moves.
Oh,
man. Big moves. That's
Need it. I have no idea how to do my taxes properly.
I don't think you really need to if you can get somebody to do it for you. I mean, I went to fucking H&R Block for years because I didn't know shit about it. They did it for me. You give them the right information and they kind of plug it in. Now I'm a little older, so I need a CPA. But
if I still don't know how to do my taxes in 5 years, I'm gonna hit you up.
Right? Yeah, I got you.
No, I'll figure it out.
No, you got it. I mean, just outsource everything. Just like they're outsourcing you to kind of do the shit that they don't need to. You can outsource for other people. And is it? I was saying like with the freelance work, let's say with this, is it where you're looking to add more to yourself, or how much of your time is taken up by one collective, like a collective as big as Desert Hearts, where it's if you have that, you have Percomaniacs. Like at what point does the cup runneth over? You know what I mean? You know,
I feel like I've been spreading myself pretty thin, but you know, since I've stopped smoking weed, my time management has been
on point.
It's been on point. I think
that's the X factor.
That was the biggest lesson. Once I quit weed, I was able to be like, you know, doing drugs doesn't make better music. It doesn't.
Agreed.
And I think people that have that issue where they don't want to quit end up saying like, oh, I can't sleep without weed, or I can't stay up late at night without coke, or you know, like I can't like party without K, or whatever it is. But like realistically, like once I stopped smoking weed, I started seeing everything as like, you know, I'm like having more fun, enjoying who I am and myself where I am when I'm aware.
When you're aware.
When I'm aware of my situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Take note, motherfuckers in the scene, whoever's listening, whoever's watching, listen to the goddamn, I don't know how many people got to come on here that tell people you don't need the shit to stay up. You don't need the shit to party, to enjoy the night. You don't need it. Like for me, I
mean, it's fun.
Sure, it's adds
fun,
to it. I don't
but
think
pick your
that's
moments,
not the fun
you know?
part though. I don't think doing it is fun. I think it's like, for some people, the high that it gets you, they can be like, whoa, I love that. Like I was, you know, fucking eyes were like this. That was so much fun. But
yeah, totally. I mean, drugs have opened my eyes to like
psychedelics.
Yeah, drugs in general. They give me new perspectives on everything in my life. And, but you know, pick your moments. Take care of yourself.
Get your sleep.
Eat your foods. Eat your greens.
And your fruits.
Get a little exercise. Dancing on cocaine for 8 hours straight is not exercise. That's your quickest way to a heart attack.
It's not exercise.
It's not. And I've had my late nights, I will say. I have. But you know, it's you gotta take care of yourself. Yeah. And when you're running a marathon, don't sprint it.
Correct.
You know, that's the kind of the goal.
And that's our industry is very particular because we're not a regular kind of scene. It's very, we got to stay up. Like some people know that, I mean, after hours, you're going from 11 p.m. to 6, 7 a.m. So it's like you're already up for the entire day beforehand. You're going to stay up the entire night, probably going harder than you did during the day when you were awake.
Oh, yeah. At the 36-hour point, it's not even doing anything for me. It's not doing anything. Not. I think at that point, the only thing I can do is start shotgunning beers in a sleeping bag.
That'll take you out on a sleeping bag.
No, if I'm sleepy, nothing is going to do it for me except for alcohol. Because then it just pushes me past the point of caring. You know? Like I'm just like, I don't care. Let's keep it going.
In the sleeping bag.
But I'm no longer the 21-year-old I used to be.
For sure, dude.
I can feel my mortality.
How old are you?
26.
26. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the more I tour, the more I DJ, the more shows I play, it's just like, the more I realize I really do got to pick my moments. Like if I'm playing a club night on a Wednesday in wherever, I don't need to get into a bag.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't need to do that stuff. And like for the most part, I've been sober like almost this entire year. It's been pretty
no
good.
weed, no alcohol.
Well, yeah, I don't smoke weed anymore.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
do it. I mean, I've tried, but now I'm like Larry David in that episode.
Yeah.
He gives his dad weed for glaucoma.
Yeah.
I just talk to myself for like an hour in the mirror about all the shit I'm doing wrong in my life. But no, I still drink a little bit, but
It's not. It's controlled.
yeah, it's all controlled,
With an
and it's
understanding.
a balance. You gotta
Yeah.
eat your greens. You gotta work
Yeah.
out. You gotta do that stuff. So
It's like a cheat meal kind of thing, where I think it's like if you're able to manage it to a certain
or
extent,
a skip meal,
A
right?
skip
'Cause,
meal,
like,
whatever you
I'm
wanna
not
call
gonna
it.
eat for the next 24 hours.
yeah, whatever you want to call it. But it's one of those things where if you're able to eat your greens, take care of yourself, everything in moderation, everything
Yeah,
in
sure,
fucking
sure.
moderation. If you can manage it and you can take care of yourself first, have your drink. Smoke a joint if you want. For me, I grew up skateboarding, so 15,
Yeah.
16 years of slams to the body, and I'm 29 now, so I'm starting to feel everything where it hurts.
Yeah, right at 30, it comes all crashing
Dude,
down, doesn't
yeah,
it?
I mean,
Unless you're a DJ, it happens every day.
where do you feel the most with these? Is it, do you guys get that carpal tunnel type thing? Because there's mostly in the hands, there's mostly in the neck.
I think my neck. I've got a
there's
stiff
a whole
neck.
lot of this
yeah.
going on. Like
Yeah,
the
a lot of
entire
head
fucking- a lot
bobbing.
of that, yeah, I felt that
A lot of
we
bouncing around.
I used to party way harder than I do now.
I've
which
sneezed my neck out.
What does that mean?
I've sneezed and put a kink in my neck. I think that's feeling your mortality. It's like, okay, too much of head bobbing at the booth. Sneeze.
Oh fuck.
I'm like this for a week.
Oh damn.
So.
Yeah, and you're not even as old as I am, bro. So you gotta
No.
take it easy now. But it's good. That's the
But
thing.
I've been a grandpa since I was like 7. So
Right. When
Yeah.
you started playing the guitar, it was all downhill from there.
yeah, it's the Jewish genes, dude. We don't age well.
That's what it is. Hey, I mean, I don't know anything about the Judaism genes, but there it is. You guys age.
I think it's a
quick.
real thing.
It might be.
It
I
might
don't know.
be.
Some.
We'll see.
I mean, just
We'll
like,
see. We'll see when I'm 40. If I still
Yeah.
look good when I'm 40, then
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, some cultures don't age at the same rate. I mean, Asian, do you look same age until you're like
65, then you're
and
like-
then yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You
I hope that's
immediately turn into
hopefully
that.
that's not racist. Whatever. Anyways, back
Maybe a little bit.
to music.
Back
Back
to
to music.
music,
Back
yeah.
to music. I gotta say, just quick shout out to Desert Hearts. Absolutely love the family. Best group of people on the planet. Really loving, inclusive family, and really opened my eyes to a lot of things in the music world, and just really gave me a family I didn't know I needed.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
So they're
That's very
great, yeah.
important. How important do you think that is in? Because there's a lot of again, like I said, I don't think it's easy for someone as an artist to come in and integrate themselves with someone like Desert Hearts at the level that they are. Because other than Desert Hearts, it's like Desert Hearts, Dirty Bird.
Yeah,
And
it's
Insomniac's
a
a
hard
little too out
hard
of
ladder
it.
to climb.
Right.
Hard ladder to
So
climb in
I
general.
can imagine that integration, because the group of homies you guys have are all fucking killer dudes,
Ever
great
expanding
artists.
too.
Expanding.
Ever expanding.
Ever expanding.
It's always bringing someone new into the fold. and,
Right.
Like, this person's sick. We gotta bring
That's
them
important.
in.
I feel because
Yeah.
because then
Keep it fresh.
it's kind of tough for you. I mean, Desert Hearts, you guys have a cult following, hard. In LA, I'm not sure how it is outside of like California, or I'm sure
In
I know
California, it's
banging.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
it's a fucking cult.
Yeah.
But I've heard stories of people being like, on the way home from like Symbiosis or something, and they're like stranded on the side of the road, and their car ran out of gas, and
Oof.
they're wearing a Desert Hearts necklace. So somebody decides like, oh, Desert Hearts,
No
they know what's
shit.
up. You stay right here. I'll be back with some gasoline for
Oh,
you.
wow.
Like, that's the kind of shit that you
Yeah,
don't get in really like any other
I agree.
like
I don't see that
music culture. That's
Yeah.
it's a really beautiful thing that we're like all out here helping each other.
Yeah, that key desert. By the way, I just figured out that key is DH sideways.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it took me
they
fucking
call it,
forever.
They call it the DH Gummy Man, DH Man. They call it the DH
Oh, okay,
Man
I could
because
see
it looks
that.
like a.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it took me fucking years, and I was like, that logo's tight. Like, it looks cool.
What is it?
Yeah, I was like,
It's
oh,
so
okay, I see the
sick.
key.
What
I
is
see it on the
that?
necklace. I see it, and then I don't know if one day I was just like, oh,
Oh,
that's a
I
DH.
get it
I fucking
now.
get it.
I
And that's
did-
good branding. That's solid. You can't
Yeah,
do that with a lot
it's
of
cool.
other collectives.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Dirty Bird DB. It's gonna look like a weird kind of thing.
Yeah,
if they
look
did it
like-
the same way.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would
Yeah.
work.
Like 3 boobs on a. No,
Yeah.
B only has 2.
No,
Anyway.
it would be like a boob and 2 boobs.
Boobs and 2 boobs.
Yeah, underneath it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've got the cool egg thing going.
Oh, that's
Although
right,
they
that's right,
totally
that's right.
jacked Harry Potter.
With the lightning bolt.
Yeah,
Going
letting
through
you
the
know,
egg.
Barkley. Trademark's coming for you.
Yeah. Barkley Crenshaw. You guys, Barkley Crenshaw is Claude Von Stroke.
Yep.
You
Barkley
guys
Crenshaw.
recently played with Claude Von Stroke as a pop-up at
Yeah.
your Percomaniacs 001.
Yeah, so Wyatt produces Claude's Birdhouse show and works with him in the studio. And yeah, I mean, like I live like 5-10 minutes away from Berkeley as well. Yeah. So I just signed my first Dirty Bird EP to them, which just comes out in a couple months from now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I was like, I got so many tracks I don't know what to do with. Here, Berkeley, here's 10 of them. See what you think.
Yeah.
I just shot them all through their demo submission form, not thinking they, would listen to it. I get like an email from Wyatt being like, yo, Berkeley likes 5 or 6 of these songs, but they're mixed like shit. Can you come over and mix them down at Berkeley Studio? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I'll go to Claude Von Stroke's studio. Yeah.
Let me think.
It might be a little bit out of my schedule, but we'll see if it works. I'll work it. I'll make something work. So I go over there, I get hang with Barkley, and I've just had great encounters with the guy. He's really cool dude. Kind of intimidating because he's just so.
Yeah.
He's like a
he
tower.
Has the Teddy Roosevelt hunch over type thing. He's just people and be over them.
He's a bear, dude. Yeah. He's a huge guy, and like.
But the thing I like about how he runs shit and how his collective is pretty much made in his image from when Dirty Bird first started doing shit. He's in the crowd when there's sets going. He's very personal, and that's that little.
I think that's why it's such a good alignment with Desert Hearts and Dirty Bird is that we're all about like the homie vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say, are you good for the hang?
Yeah.
And Barkley's good for the hang. He's a funny dude. He likes comedy. I like comedy, so we like get along in that. But so I've got to hang out with him a bit, and then we were able. They did the Birdhouse. We did a Percomaniacs takeover. Just this last week, and Barkley's like, "Are you gonna make me go to this?" And White's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna make you go to this. You're coming." And so he ended up actually doing it, and we were like, "Oh, he's not gonna show up." And then he's like. Talked to his managers like, yo, I'm going to go to this for like 30 minutes. Ended up playing for like an hour and a half with us. And
he has to run it by someone to kind of see if there's any like clashes with different
just kind of lets them, he's the boss.
Right.
He does what he wants. Barkley's a...
no one's going to tell Claude Von Stroke. No.
If he wants to make something happen, he's going to make it happen.
Right, I can see that.
Barkley, you can't make a music festival into a summer camp. Watch me.
Best idea he had.
Watch me.
Best idea
did it.
He had.
Totally did. Yeah, people love that.
That's genius. I mean, I went to Dirty Bird 2015, I think. Wow, it's been 4 years now. And
so you went to the first one that was in...
No. The one before... Well, it was at that lake, Small Lakes.
Yeah, the one that Lightning in a Bottle used to be at.
Yeah.
I was at that one too.
Yeah, that
was the best one.
For me,
all the grass and stuff.
The grass for me, it was like potato sack race, extreme frisbee.
Yeah, now they've even expanded on that. I actually did my first stand-up comedy set ever at that.
Sick, the little side thing that they got.
Yeah, what's now called like Barkley's Bunker or something like that, bunkhouse. I don't know.
All about Barkley.
Yeah.
All about Barkley. He's the boss or something. So how was that? Did you get into comedy before? Was that kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, fucking
I've done like comedy stuff, but like I would like host the talent show in high school and stuff and like with some friends and write jokes and stuff.
That's tight. I always considered getting into comedy, but it was one of those things where I'm very on the fly. Like I can kind of come up with a joke as contextually, like if it's working out.
But you need both of that. You need because like comedy is also a writing job.
Yeah,
you need to be able to be writing your jokes all the time.
Absolutely.
But also be able to like diffuse situations really well.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting heckled or something like I always find that to be like a really good sign of a good comedian is how they handle their audience and like what jokes have they prepared that they can slide into those interactions. And sometimes it's just off the hip, so it's like if you are funny like that all the time and you can remember write those jokes down, which I never do. You could be a funny man.
I have it on my phone. I think for me, because I do this thing on my phone where I'll write out, like, let's say for example, like me and somebody's just off the hip or just saying some fucking hilarious outlandish shit. I'll write down like a sketch on my phone. So I have like 12 to 13 like workaholic type sketches that you can essentially turn into a comedy routine. But I think for me, it just never appealed to me to like get up on stage and give it a try. Like, what's the deal with cell phones?
Oh man, that is such a cliche comedy joke. Yeah. What's the deal with airline food?
Exactly.
No, like I had a 10-minute set written out on my phone that I was ready to do at Dirty Bird Campout, and I got on that stage and I was so nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
I've played in front of 3,000 person crowds and there was maybe 50 people at this comedy set, and I was just like,
because you're vulnerable at that point. Because
you're really vulnerable.
It's your voice. You're saying it, and you need engagement. Like you need people to laugh. You're not gonna just go to.
But the thing is, they're ready to laugh. So even when you don't
true.
say something funny, like they'll laugh at it. Yeah. Like I just got up there, like I guess I'll tell some jokes. They're like I'm just like okay.
It worked. We're off to a good start.
I got Barkley to chuckle, so that was nice.
The fact that guy will come and fucking set at a comedy routine at his own festival, like.
Well, granted, his manager at the time, she and I had a pact that we had to go and do comedy at the set. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he was.
Yeah. So he was there to see her, and I just happened to be right after.
Yeah, he just happened to be there. He's like, I'll stay for this fucking.
Yeah, guy. Yeah. I had some jokes about Barkley though, so he liked those.
Was one of them.
You want to hear one of them?
Yeah.
I said that Dirty Bird liked my music, and they wanted to sign it, but they wouldn't pay me enough because you know what they say about those birds. They cheap.
Oh,
called him a cheap bastard right in front of to his face. He loved it.
He was like, ha, ha, ha,
yeah,
bare hands. I am cheap, really.
He's actually got a higher voice than that. He's like, ha, ha, ha.
Really?
No, I'm
big
totally
motherfucker
kidding.
like that.
Totally
okay.
kidding.
Yeah,
Totally
I was
kidding.
like, big motherfucker like that.
No, he's I got a laugh out of him, but. Yeah, that was
good.
I don't know. After that, I was like, I don't know if I want to do comedy. I don't think it's for me. I like to make people laugh, but I don't think I want to do it as a profession.
Yeah. How much just to kind of get back to where we were with your path and working with people like Desert Hearts, that kind of gave you insight to the inner workings of something a little bit bigger than yourself, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'd done A&R for other labels, and like I ran Room Temp with Fritz, and I was working with a label in San Francisco when I was living in Santa Cruz called Pop Gang. Yeah, and they're still really, really close homies of mine. Like, they go by Mannix, and they're like a electronic indie duo, but they're really cool. Tight. They do a lot of like licensing deals for like video games and stuff like that, and like just like cool music. Like what is that? Like,
right.
Like you can't quite praise it, but it sounds so familiar. Yeah. It's like such a cool.
That's my jam, to be honest. I'm one of those people where I can't once I leave a show or once I'm not doing something that has to do with I can't just bump house music all day, all night.
Oh yeah, no way. Yeah.
And I know people that do that, and it's fucking exhausting.
I had kids come up to me and tell me that they're like, I love Doses, man. I brush my teeth to that shit. And I was like, have you heard the lyrics of that song? Like, you have a fucking problem.
Yeah, right.
But thank you. I can't listen to house music all day, every day. And Frankie Knuckles said this. He said, if you want to make good music, you need to listen to all music.
Yeah.
You need to know what good music is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, like, I've got a shit ton of vinyl, so I listen to like very obscure jazz and world music and like
I love world music.
Audio
jam,
obstacle courses and
audio obstacle course.
How weird is that? Like,
dude, fucking coin that. That's
audio
obstacle.
I think
that.
Roland did that or something. It was just tight. Like, and this is how the bass sounds. Boo, boo.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'll find it.
Honey, HN.
Oh, I love Honey.
Yeah, I was listening to the record the other day, and one of the tracks is that same thing, just pretty much calling it out as they play it. But audio, what'd you call it?
I'm pretty sure audio obstacle course is not correct.
Tight. I like that though.
I dig it.
I like that because it really puts you can see the thing just from the words.
So yeah, just a lot of I love really obscure music. I think that's always been something that's really nice about listening to DJ sets and stuff. Yeah. Because being shown music you don't know. Right. I think that is really the way to go. That's why guys like Honey and Rush Hour, Hooney and DJ Tennis and Dixon and Damien Lazarus. They're all...
The list goes on, bro.
The list goes on. It's just music that's so difficult to find. A promo like a year in advance, or like music that's never going to come out, like something shared by a close homie or something like that. And I think that, coming back to like the direction of music, it's like that's where it needs to go. You have roughly an hour and a half, 2 hours, at least in LA, as a standard set time.
Right. Does it get shorter?
Why play the same music as everyone else?
Yeah.
Show
just because they want to get people dancing. Just because they get people. What do you say? What was that last part?
Show people your tastes.
Oh, your taste.
What do you think I said?
Show people your tits. I was like, hold on. What did I miss mid sentence?
No.
Yeah. Don't do that. Maybe do that.
That's corny.
Yeah. Don't do that.
That's corny. You can do that. You can get away with that in Vegas.
If Flume can eat ass on stage, some people can show.
He was having fun. He was a Burning Man. I got no judgment for him.
Yeah. No judgment either.
Yeah. 2019. Eating asses. now a failing trend.
Yeah, as you DJ, a failing trend.
Yeah, it's past the point of being cool. Everyone does it already.
Everyone does it. Yeah,
all the cool kids
find
were
a new
doing
body
it.
part. Yeah, find a new body part to. Anyway. Jesus Christ. Yeah, show people your tastes, and I think that the more well-rounded your musical knowledge is, to where like if you don't listen to house music all the time, you listen to hip hop, you listen to R&B, you listen to indie alternative, you listen to oldies, you listen to shit that you would never listen when you're producing. I feel like you can pick up nuances that you won't hear if you only listen to house music, because there's rhythms, there's cadences, there's a whole bunch of
and the way that music was actually put together.
Yeah,
is really important. You listen to a lot of those disco songs where a lot of the instruments are accenting each other, and a lot of people in house music go a little overboard. I think that's what's missing, is that real element, because with the drive in technology, anyone can do it now.
Yeah,
but not everyone can make it sound organic and real.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not genuine.
I mean, it can still be genuine, but I think it's missing that human element, And it's crazy because you can download VSTs that will actually humanize your productions by throwing things off just by like milliseconds,
but that doesn't really take care of you that doesn't benefit you as an artist. Like it gets your point across.
I know really talented artists that use that sort of thing where they've done everything in MIDI and then use a humanizer, and then it throws it off and it gives it that like that little bit of earliness or a little bit of lateness that gives it kind of a weird shuffle that it sounds like it's being played as opposed to programmed. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's a musician, so I think it's that's good for you. Yeah, that's great, man. With Percomaniacs, like you had the vision coming into your own as an artist that you want to be a label boss, you want to be something, and now you are. And that was something that you kind of got started. Why Percomaniacs? How did you decide that? Hey, I have enough skills from my prior workings.
Yeah, it was like we were doing room temp together. It was like me, Rybo, Fritz, Kevin Anderson, Ghosty. It was like all five of us, and like Wyatt Marshall too, sort of. He wasn't moved to LA quite yet.
Right.
Excuse me. But it just kind of fizzled out. There was too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many people trying to make all the decisions. Yep. And Rybo and I were at Coachella. He was working with Jamie Jones. Jamie was playing that weekend, so we were like all hanging out. We just left kind of feeling very inspired. We were like, we need to have our own thing.
Nice.
We need to be making our own decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing our thing. So we were driving back together, and he was like, why not Percomaniacs? We're crazy for drums.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Get some water.
Yeah, go for it. So what happens when you talk this much? You get your voice course, and I try to limit this shit to about 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, I've seen podcasts go on for 3 hours. Joe Rogan, way too
long.
Well,
I listen to a lot of podcasts as well, so
yeah.
I'm just training. This is training exercises right now.
I'm part of the training course. Excuse me.
Anyways, yeah, so Rybo actually came up with the name Percomaniacs.
Percomaniacs.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like you said, and you're like,
Yeah, I think it came from a song we both really liked. And it was just like, yeah, let's do it.
But I'm sure it's way more complicated than just like, hey, let's start it, and then you start the guy.
I had always said, like, I'm addicted to drums instead of drugs. And nice. I love that. And he was always like, bongos, not bangers. And so we're just like, yeah, fuck it. Percomaniacs makes a lot of sense for both of us.
Yeah, you had the conversation on the way home. How is it that you put something like starting a record label into the works? What are some things that, let's say for those that are listening that have that idea, but they don't know how to put pen to paper? You know, it's
if you're just getting started and you don't know how the whole contracting thing works, you don't have the connections with distribution stuff. There's a really, really, really cool website interface run out of San Francisco called Sound System by Proton Radio. And they make it incredibly easy to take notes, to schedule and contract releases. They distribute to every major platform. And they take 30% off the top after distribution.
Is that about average?
No.
A
I think
little
if you
high?
do your own contracting and you have another distributor, it's a little bit less than that, 15-10% or something like that.
That's huge.
But 30% is a lot.
Yeah.
But for how easy it is,
Right,
and they do
right,
all
right.
your accounting, they pay out all the artists and royalties. That's administrative work
That's
that
huge.
you don't have to do
Yeah,
yourself,
for sure.
which is great. And I just want to say special shout out to our sponsor, Proton Radio.
Yeah, that's his sponsor, not mine. I ain't
No,
got one of those
They're
yet. But
they're great dudes, really, really helpful. Makes my life way easier. Makes it easy for me to manage more than 3 labels at a time.
Right. I can imagine.
So, if I was doing all the contracting myself, I would, it would be a lot more difficult. But these guys really do a good job. So I think if you're just starting out, it's really great way to do it.
yeah, you need all the help you can get in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. I
for
mean,
sure.
we now do all our own contracting, but at least Proton Radio is able to keep track of our accounting and
Yeah, that's
pay out
big.
all of our royalties to
That's
artists and, sign all the releases digitally. It makes it really simple and easy.
Yeah. Contracting as far as you and the artist that's giving you the music.
Yeah, like saying these masters belong to the label.
Right.
This is the amount of money that you're making
Right.
for these tracks that you've signed.
So they take 30% off the top of what you guys are getting, and then whatever you guys are getting is going in a certain percentage.
It's
so it
usually
filters its way down
I mean,
to the artist.
It's really terrible how the music industry works
Yeah.
these days in terms of signing music. It's usually 50% goes to the actual distribution. So it's like iTunes, Amazon, Beatport
okay.
takes 50%, and then your distributor.
Right.
So I guess the person distributing your music to these platforms,
Right.
which Proton Radio would be our,
Mm-hmm.
our
Distributor.
your distributor.
Yeah.
So I would actually call Beatport and Amazon like a distribution platform.
Right.
So the platform takes 50%. Say a release costs $2,
Mm-hmm.
they take $1.
Mm-hmm.
There's 30% that goes to your distributor,
Right.
which would be anywhere from 10 to 30,
Sure.
and then the rest of that, which would be anywhere between 70 and 85 cents, goes to the label and the artist.
Mm.
And then pretty standard 50% of that goes to the label.
Okay, and then
So let's say we're still using this $2
yeah,
model.
Yeah.
35 cents is left for the artist. And now say it's a collab, right?
Sure.
It's you and another artist. You guys are splitting that 50-50. So
Right.
that's
17.5%.
17.5%. or 17.5 cents
per
cents
purchase.
per
$2
$2
purchase.
purchase.
Ooh,
So you're actually making how much on the dollar there? That's like little less than 9 cents.
mhm.
Little less than 9 cents per song purchased. But
that's brutal.
that's the way it
That's
goes.
brutal.
And
There's
I
no
mean,
way
there's
around that,
there's
is
different
there?
rates. I mean, this is totally
This
just
is
a
just a-
ballpark
right. Yeah,
generalization
yeah,
of
yeah.
how these things
Yeah,
go,
totally.
because it can be totally
This
different.
is just for an understanding, general understanding.
General
Yeah,
understanding.
Yeah.
Spotify pays differently.
Yeah.
Streaming pays differently. You can, if you have publishing, you can rack in radio streams.
Are there preferred platforms? Like, for example, with me, let's say with the podcast, I have Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube, where I chose not to release on SoundCloud because of the exposure, because I feel like podcast is more prevalent in certain
Well, there's
platforms
just so
than
many
others.
platforms, isn't there?
Yeah.
And everyone's got
Oh,
the
yeah.
preferred one. So it's like, what do you prefer?
As the
I mean, like
label.
you could really push all of your effort into one platform
Yeah.
and do it that way,
And they still take 50%.
and they still can take 50%.
So if it's let's say Apple, iTunes, and Spotify, they're getting 50% to split.
No, it would be like, say you get one stream, right, on Spotify.
Right.
That stream is split. If you get another stream on Apple
okay.
Music,
Got it.
that stream is split.
Got it.
It's not like
It's not one whole.
it's not one whole pot.
Okay,
It's all
got it.
split per distribution
Okay, that makes sense.
platform.
So essentially, the more platforms you have it on, you can possibly double the amount. Because if you have a lot of people viewing it on Spotify, a lot of people viewing it on Apple, you're getting 9 cents to the dollar from two different at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, I think for Spotify streams, it's actually a lot less than that per stream. To get a living working wage, say $3,000 a month, you need like 1 million plays on a song
Fuck.
for just one song.
Consistently. Yeah, one
If
song.
you want to get like, it would be 1 million plays per month for $3,000 per month.
Damn, dude. That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But then you see artists that have like 256 million plays on a song, and you're like,
It really gets to that, huh?
it really gets a lot of money. You
I
know,
don't even know what that adds up to. So if you do math out there, please call us in.
comments in the section below.
Figure out how much people can possibly make.
Call 911. We will be
don't call
waiting.
911. Don't. Well, that's dope, man. It sounds like you got a fucking great path laid out for yourself. You got a lot of shit on your plate, but again, time management seems to be something that you've gotten down, which is more power to you.
Quit weed. Get your time together. That's my only advice for that.
That's his advice. It's not mine, but it's his, and it works for him. So if it works for him, it can work for everybody else. And again, you with the music and I think it fits your life, like the lifestyle that people can choose to live. Obviously, it's going to help them out more than others, but everything in moderation. If it's fucking
even
working,
moderation though. So I mean,
yeah, if it's working for you, more power to you, and anybody else that can take it.
Exactly. Weed was doing the exact opposite for me.
Yeah. So when it gets to that point, then I always fucking say, do what you got to do.
I won't say
yourself.
I haven't tried it. I've been smoking weed for 13 years or something like that. And it was just like, time to give it up, dude.
Yeah.
Can I do this on my own, or do I need weed?
Right.
Now
you learned.
And I learned. I can do anything I put my mind to.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Self-control.
Self-control. Yeah, it's great. Love discipline. It's good.
Nice.
Still working on it though.
Always.
But yeah.
You're never gonna really be self-disciplined unless you become a monk, and then it's like, you ever think about that?
You
ever
think
about
that?
That's a new look for you.
Yeah, I'm going for it. Yeah.
You have a good shaped head. I can't do that with mine. I got a weird lumpy ass head. So if I shave my head, it looks like
You're the second person to say that to me.
You have a good shaped head?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Mine's just, I got a whole lot of.
I got a small head though. I've got weird bumps.
Yeah, dude, my shit's all fucked up.
I'm all misshapen and shit though. Thank you though.
But I can think straight.
I can think straight.
That's what's key.
Yeah.
All right, tight. Anything coming up you want to shout out? Anybody, particular people or events?
Yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to Rybo and Wyatt Marshall. Love running Percomaniacs with these dudes. They keep me on my toes. They make great fucking music.
Oh yeah.
And they just tell me how it is. They don't sugarcoat shit, which I love.
Which is important.
Very important. Just through our first Percomaniacs label showcase, which was amazing. If you guys didn't hear, Claude Von Stroke came out, Mikey Lion.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, Porky. No, just reiterating,
right,
bro. Chill out.
This isn't about me.
This is not about you. This is my turn to brag.
Go for it.
Give it to me. Mikey Lion, Porky showed up. Where's Phoenix? Somi and Mesa, some locals. Great show. Got to give a shout out to all the people that helped us put that shit together. That was amazing. The live oil projectionists, the lasers, everyone just fucking killed it on that. As far as releases go, we got a compilation coming out on Percomaniacs, showing some love to a bunch of our friends and family. On October 4th. I don't know when this is coming out.
This maybe tonight, tomorrow.
Maybe tonight. Cool.
Yeah. Should be able to.
October 4th. And, we got releases scheduled every 3 weeks on Percomaniacs. We keep it going. Nice. We're scheduled out through almost all of, halfway through 2020 right now.
Oh,
so
wow.
Keep it going.
Sick. Good for you guys.
Yeah. Got to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Got to be picky, though.
For sure.
So I've got a bunch of releases coming up. I've got, track on the compilation. We got an edit EP that's coming out this Friday. My edit of Grateful Dead Shakedown Street.
Nice.
Which was great because my dad's a Deadhead. I'm sure he's going to hate me for this one.
Most of them might.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I played it at Wave Spell. People liked it. And they're a bunch of wokes up there. They don't know who Grateful Dead is. Actually, the sound guy was wearing a Grateful Dead shirt, and he almost shit himself.
Yeah.
Collaboration with Doc Martin, November 1st.
Nice. That's big.
Yeah, really stoked. Coming out in Desert Hearts. Can't say who the remixer is, but he's an absolute legend.
You can tell me after.
I'll tell you after.
Right.
I'll tell you after. Or I can just write down on a paper. Here, let me show you. I'll write down on the piece of paper. And
Sorry, motherfuckers.
And you can just show me your reaction. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know who this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Dude, sick. Yeah.
King of dance music.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Is he not?
That's rad.
Fucking sick. Yeah,
Congratulations.
Doc's got some good homies. So, yeah, Doc Martin collab. Really stoked on that one. He's got vocals from his wife, Lilia.
Nice.
She's a very wonderful person as well. Remix on my buddy Andre Salmon's label, going to vinyl. Remixes from Citizen, Andre Salmon, the label head himself, and a few other people. The artist name is Ray and Hearns, coming out on vinyl. Really stoked to that.
I'm a cop one of those. I've been collecting vinyl for a while now.
I'll have 5 copies. I'll give you one. Okay. And then end of November, on November 29th, on my girl's birthday, my first Dirty Bird EP comes out. 2 tracks. Remix for Kevin Knapp on Desert Hearts, December 13th. And I got a really, really big 2020 plan, but I can't say much about it. I want to give
I'll
this a
have you
full
back.
announce. I will say this. I've been hinting at it. I'm going to do what I call a month of lube, which is short for month of Lubelski.
Right.
1 track a day, every day for an entire
Sick.
month, free download, showing love back. And I just have too much
Yeah. you're
music.
like-
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So
You're gonna put it out on the month of lube.
I'm putting it out in the month of lube. You guys can all play it. It's your music now. It no longer belongs to me.
I like
I don't have the rights to it. It's just it belongs
For
to
the
you guys.
people.
So I'm gonna give it back, and that's after that'll happen in May of next year, hopefully, depending on my release schedule. But it will happen before July. I guarantee that.
You should
And
make that into a shirt. Month of lube.
month of lube, huh?
Like a tour shirt
yeah.
with some tracks on it.
Or we can just boot whatever the least favorite month is and just rename it lube, right?
February?
Ooh.
No,
let's
February's
do, yeah. So January, lube, March, April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
but then I'd have to do it all in February.
Yeah.
But a lot of big things coming. We're going to do another Percomaniacs party in Q1. We're going to throw parties throughout the rest of the year. We got so much cool stuff planned.
Hell yeah.
Really, really, really excited for 2020.
Hey, you seem excited,
And
man.
yeah,
That's good.
really
Good
stoked.
to see.
Really
Hell
stoked.
yeah.
And it's all because I quit marijuana.
that's if it's what it is, then fucking hell yeah.
Yeah. So now
Fuck weed.
I can see more than a day ahead of me. It's amazing.
It was that bad, huh?
It was that bad.
You're
I was
good.
smoking like a spliff every hour on the hour from the
Oh,
moment
yeah.
I woke up to the moment I went to sleep for 10 years straight.
Did you even try to like just cut back a little bit, or you're just like fucking cold
Cut
turkey?
back. Everything in
Ah.
moderation, even moderation, my
Yeah.
dude. All right. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's good. Stay tuned. Listen to Desert Hearts. Desert Hearts Black is doing really well as well. And yeah, I think that's all I got.
Tight.
Much love to Mikey Lyon, Claude Von Stroke, Ryba, Wyatt Marshall, and the lovely lady Kai Day that always sticks it through.
Yes.
All right,
Do
cool.
it. You got to drop it on him.
Oh, sunglasses.
Yeah, you didn't think you were gonna have Lubelski
Last
on
thing-
without
last
saying
thing.
the goddamn thing.
I'm going to be announcing my own line of sunglasses.
Yes.
I'm not going to say the name on there because
All right. Yeah, you'll tell me after.
they just
But
don't
still,
make them small
that's
enough.
fucking
And
tight.
if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Oh, you're fully all production is
Producing,
gonna come. Fuck
manufacturing,
yeah,
yeah.
dude. Yeah, that's smart.
$500 a sunglass. If you really
Okay.
want it, you got to
And-
want it.
And you had them, and they're
Yeah,
gone.
well, you know, we'll have a special $30 one for
Yeah.
all the people that
I'll get one for the podcast.
really want it but can't afford it.
Tight. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man. Keep doing
Of
what
course.
you're doing, and then I'll get this shit out to you as soon as I get it out, and I'll see you in the fucking scene.
Great. Thanks,
Hell
dude.
yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys.